is just going to be a huge swell trying to do the same thing again. And I think it's going to be really effective. It was effective the first time. There are more mines here this time, but when he's going to have those overseers, he's going to have that speed on the overseers, so they're going to be able to keep up with the army. They're going to be able to absorb some of those mine hits, and this is going to be a really tough defense.
Yeah, Henderless doing the same thing he did the first time, moving those lings around the left side, and going to be moving down here to... Oh, actually, he's going to be making the banelings right up here. You're going to be moving across. He's still got a lot of banelings in it, or sorry, zerglings and a few roaches back at his third base, moving those over. So going to be another coordinated attack here.
Style is now moving in 2 medevacs full of units, but I mean the vision of Henderlisk is so good. He saw all of this coming and choosing not really to do much with it. I think because I mean Henderlisk is continuing to move his army across the map, and I think that Hawaiian Style now sees that he has to get those units back, so he unloads and is stemming them across, trying to defend this third base that he just put down.
Oh.
Lings go in to try and absorb those mine hits, and sure enough, all 6 do go off.
Wow,
so now
yeah.
the rest of the army is going to be able to move in unhindered.
Oh,
No,
and
he
that
doesn't
supply
get the
depot even
wall.
down. Oh, the baneling's able to just freely roll into the base and get all the SCVs at the natural are going to die.
I mean, those ground forces do have the upgrade, and there's the GG.
GG, wow. I mean, honestly, you know, Hawaiian Style, some of his positioning was not the best. I mean, putting all 6 mines right in a clump right at the third base there, that was certainly not the wisest thing to do, because 2 Zerglings running in are going to trigger almost every single one of them.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we saw happen, a small contingency running in and triggering them all. But frankly, Henderlisk wasn't going for that third. He wanted to go for the main. He wanted to get into the natural. He wanted to do the death blow. He wasn't interested in doing economic damage and trying to win a few minutes later.
Yeah, so very solid play from Henderlisk, Hawaiian Style. Just seemed like he was on the back foot the entire game, and he really was. I mean, a big bust like that just ruins any plan you have, because you lose so much infrastructure and you basically have to start over and make a new plan.
Yeah, that's true. And playing on the back foot is never easy, and especially when you're going against a player of Henderlisk's caliber who is able to press that advantage.
Yep, so now we're going to have Trace coming in from NRG, a Protoss, to see what he can do against Complexity's Henderlisk playing for YMCMB.
Game paused.
As I get all the things set up here. So it's going to be match point as well.
Yeah, that's right. So Henderlisk only has to win this game, and that will cinch their movement into the semifinals. But NRG has Trace out. They must be putting a lot of confidence in him, as he cannot drop a game and has to win 3 games in a row in order to be able to allow his team to move forward.
Yep, and this is going to be game number, 2, 4, 6, 7. So we'll see what Trace can do. Henderlisk has not come up against a Protoss so far. It's been Terran last game. Yeah, I guess it was... I guess he did have Protoss, so we'll see what he can do. Henderlisk did that Swarm Host play against Protoss, so wonder if he ends up coming out with the same sort of thing. But in the upper right-hand corner, wearing the orange trunks, coming out for NRG to see what he can do, his name is Trace.
And in the bottom left-hand corner, playing Commanding Zerg tonight, taking 2 games already. Can he take a third and seal up the match for the evening? It is Henderlisk.
So another interesting game here. I mean, Henderlisk, a pretty well-known player, and he's been playing as such. Just so no one is confused, you do see Complexity in the clan tag there. He is a member of Complexity, but is playing in this league for YMCMB. This is YMCMB versus NRG in the round of 8 of the StarCraft 2 Community Team League.
And these are the playoffs. The winner of this match is going to move on to the semifinals. The loser is unfortunately going to be out of the tournament for this season.
Looks like Henderlisk is in chat.
Well, welcome, Henderlisk. Thanks for joining us this evening.
Assuming that's
and everybody else. Thanks
the
to everybody
actual
for joining us
Henderlisk
tonight.
and not a Smurf. Oh, there is a hatchery going down with the natural. You sneaky Henderlisk, you. Oh, and the probe is going to come out and see it put down that pylon, but he's going to say, whoa, wait a second. This isn't supposed to be here.
And we're going to see what this defense ends up being from Trace. That gateway is about to finish up.
Yeah, so you're the Zerg. Tell me what you would do in this situation if you decided to go hatchery in your base.
Hatchery in my base or in their base?
In their base.
Well, I mean, a lot of times you like to see that hatchery come up. You get queens, you get spine crawlers, and you just kind of root into that position, similar to walling on, like what you used to be able to do with walling off with the bottom of the ramp with cannons or with bunker or whatnot. It's obviously not going to be quite as effective as those strategies were, which have now been made obsolete with the implementation of those rocks at the bottom of the ramp. So that zealot is coming down now as this hatchery is about to finish up.
You know, to be quite honest, I remember in the first 2 or 3 weeks of the SC2CTL, we saw this strategy quite a bit actually, because Henderlisk is putting on a hatchery at his natural behind this, so I don't think it's really intended to be an all-in necessarily, just to be different. I mean, and we've seen it work very well, as Trace is gonna have to figure out some way to deal with this as the queen is coming out.
And if this isn't going to be super, I mean, he is making lings out of that. He is getting a queen there, but obviously these zealots are going to be able to do enough damage to break this eventually, as the lings are moving in now to the mineral line, taking out the gas probes first. But if nothing else, this creep is going to take a while to recede, and Trace is not going to be able to expand it for quite some time.
Trace did not get out a mothership core either after Cybernetics core finishes, and just now putting it down. That's like probably the most imperative unit to have.
Oh, but Henderlisk was able to force those zealots to retreat as that queen comes out, and so that is going to stick around. A second queen is immediately being produced, and the Zerglings continue to stream across the map and be produced.
And he did put down a creep tumor towards the back there, so wanted that creep tumor to be sure to be safe, but that's a lot of Zerglings coming into Trace's base now just as the mothership core pops.
And it is going to be quite some time before the Photon Overcharge is prepared to go down for the defense of that main. And so these Zerglings, while will be harassed by the mothership's laser cannons, will largely be able to kind of do whatever they want.
So there is a pylon here outside of Henderlisk's base. Trace now looks like he's just going for straight up 4-gate as the warp gate is finishing. 3 gateways will finish here shortly behind it, so he's going to be warping in a bunch of units at Henderlisk's base to see what he can get done, it looks like.
Henderlisk did send back 4 lings to try and take out that pylon. As a stalker does get warped in, they are there to try and engage it.
Looks like Trace opting for a stalker here. I would have thought for sure he would be going for zealots, knowing that there's a lot of Zerglings, but so let's just see what these lings can do. They do not have speed, so the stalker is able to micro them very well, so that's definitely a good thing, but what is Trace going to warp in here to do?
And I think that's exactly why he decided to get those stalkers, is to try and be able to do a little bit more micro damage against these queens, but now Henderlisk pulling forward drones to be able to defend against that. At the same time, queens just walking straight into the main base of Trace.
Queen counterattacks as the observers, yes. I don't think we've ever seen that before, but Zealot and Stalkers going in, get 1 queen down, tries to micro a Stalker back but loses it. Zerglings flooding in now. It's going to push this back. Henderlisk is going to be okay against this, and these queens have 5 kills and 4 kills consecutively, so they're doing a lot of damage.
They are doing a lot of damage, and there's not really a lot there to be able to challenge them until these Zealots did get warped in now, but Zerglings are right on their heels. And look at these transfuses. I mean, these queens are seemingly invincible. Now microing them back, all the probes get pulled and are surrounding the lings and the queens, so one of those queens is going to fall. The second one is shortly behind.
Yeah, all the APM of Trace now was focused on those queens as his units at Henderlisk base did stop doing all activity, but now there's roaches out, so these roaches are going to definitely force away these stalkers and just decides to go GG. So that's going to be the end for NRG, unfortunately. Henderlisk and company of YMCMB defeating them 5-3. So that was match point, but that is not the end for tonight, folks.
Oh no.
NRG